Friends, welcome back. We discussed chapter 3.3, the proof for soul's existence. We can understand the soul's existence through SSS, sense, science, scriptures. 3.31 deals with sense. We'll discuss that in two parts, observing ourselves and observing others. Let's start with observing ourselves. When we say my car, my clothes, or my glasses, we naturally understand there is a separate that we are separate from these possessions. But when we say my body, do we realize that the body belongs to us and that we are distinct from it? In the JSD course, a volunteer faces the group and points to his left hand, right shoulder, and left cheek as directed. Then the facilitator asks, now please point to your body. The volunteer does so. Just as the exercise seems straightforward, the facilitators now point to yourself. Why do most people instinctively point to their heart? Suddenly, the room is abuzz too with excitement. Could it be that we are different from our bodies? If it's not just a play of words, for some it's an moment, a realization that they are separate from their physical body. It's simple common sense to understand who we are is distinct from what we belong to us. Second, observing others. We grieve the death of a loved one who has passed away and left us forever. In different languages, we express it like in Gujarati, we say, Ye vaye gayo. In Hindi, wo chale gaye. And in Kannada, avaru hudaru. These statements essentially mean the person has left, but the body is still in front of us. Gradually, the truth dawned upon us that the person who has gone is different from his body. Many relationships surround us, but we rarely connect to the real person, the soul. We mostly interact with the external bodies or inner minds. Death is a compelling moment that sobers us to herald the truth that the person we love is not only the body after all. 3.2 Science. Two branches of modern science establish the existence of element beyond the body. A. Near-death experience. B. Reincarnation studies of past life memories. Let us discuss each one of them briefly. A. Near-death experience. Research in the field of near-death experience and reincarnation studies establish with compelling data there is something within the body that lives and survives death. What is near-death and experience? Near-death is a close encounter with death wherein a person lives on to recollect his experience. With recent developments in medical science like cardiac resuscitation, the number of reported near deaths has increased. 2. What does the patient experience during NDs? Some documented experience of NDE patients are positive emotions of peace with a sense of being removed from the world, seeing a dark tunnel or ghostly beings attacked with ropes, observing doctors and nurses trying to resuscitate them from a place outside the body, sudden immersion into a powerful light, intense feeling of an unconditional love. Flashback or a life review. Kenneth Ring and Bruce Grayson, the original researchers with the International Association of Near-Death Studies, have studied NDs for over 3 decades and have devised scientific methods to verify and measure the depths of such NDE experiences. Are NDE hallucinations? Dr. Michael Esoban, a cardiologist and professor at Emory University Medical School, who was openly skeptical about NDEs, changed his mind after investigating them. After extensive research in NDEs, he concludes that human consciousness can function independently of brain activity. They are not mere hallucinations. In his book Light and Death, one doctor fascinating account of near-death experience, Dr. Sabon reports an out-of-body experience of a lady in aneurysm surgery for a brief period in the absence of any ECG activity. A Dutch NDE study reveals how an unconscious heart victim later recognized the nurse who removed his dentures. There is no other logical experience for this as the patient was in a coma while undergoing the cardiopulmonary resuscitation. 4. How does ND prove the existence of the soul? Near-death experiences prove that a clinically brain-dead person can observe events from a place outside the body. This medical field focuses on a brain at the seat of consciousness. However, the evidence shows that our self-awareness is independent of brain and the body. Modern science has begun studying this phenomena of something within the body that can observe it from the outside. This self-awareness or consciousness points out the existence of the spiritual soul. Part B we will discuss today is reincarnation or past life memories. Dr. Ian Stevenson, professor of psychiatry at University of Virginia, has investigated over 3,000 cases of reincarnation. What is Dr. Stevenson's modus operandi? Instead of relying on hypnosis, Dr. Stevenson directly documented children who spontaneously remembered their past lives to validate their accuracy. He would confirm the deceased's identity and empirically verify the facts recounted by the minor. He even matched the child's birthmarks and birth defects to the wounds and scars on the deceased body of the past life and further corroborated these with medical records. Scholars accept Dr. Stevenson's studies as convincing evidence of a conscious self that can travel from one physical body to the next. Dr. Hara Leaf in Journal of Nervous and Mental Disease remarks, either he, Dr. Stevenson, is making a colossal mistake or he will be known as the Galileo of the 20th century. Second, a real case study of reincarnation. Dr. Satwant Parishcha from the National Institute of Mental Health and Neuroscience, NIMHANS, Bangalore, had a lot of research from across the world have verified the following story to be a remarkable, indisputable case of reincarnation. Born on 21st May 1979 in Bombay, Deep Kapadia, even at 10-month-old toddler, began talking about going to Udaipur, a city 800 kilometers north of Bombay in the state of Rajasthan. During the next 2 years, Deep surprised his parents by talking in Marwadi and picking up 4 more languages not known to the family. Dr. Mehtani confirmed his IQ to be that of a 10-year-old son. 10-year-old. Soon, Dr. Ramnath Kenny, a parapsychologist, declared this child a reincarnation case and helped his parents discover the truth. Deep Kapadia narrates his own story. Since I was just 2.5 years old and had never been to Udaipur before, Dr. Kenny, to prove that I am a rebirth case, took me to the city. Meanwhile, the news about my past life memories spread, and Mr. Bharat Gilani, a reporter from the reputed Gujarati magazine Chitralekha, wrote an article about this journey in 1983. As our bus stopped at Udaipur, I spontaneously got down, exclaiming that we have arrived at my city. As I recognized the Victoria Stand, Fateh Memorial, and the City Palace, it was clear to all that I am well acquainted with the city. Soon I led the group to my house. My son from my previous life refused to acknowledge me, thinking this was a bizarre plot that I had spun to get my hands on his property. However, one of his friends pointed out that I looked exactly like his father and bore a resemblance to his sister. Intrigued and yet emotional, he picked me in his arms and we went around the city. It was a strange sight, a grown up son carrying his 2.5-year-old father from the previous life in his arms. I then recalled that I was known as Pamanal Agarwal and worked as the chief security officer of the city palace at Udaipur in my previous lives. I remembered the secrets that I had learned in my earlier life. As we strolled around in the palace at one point, I asked the palace security to remove a large life-size frame that hung on a wall. They were reluctant. However, when I said this led to a secret door to escape from the palace, they did as I said. The palace officials positively confirmed what I said. Finally, I spoke of my death. I was murdered in 1976 with poisoned milk. I had enemies who envied my closeness to King Maharana Fateh Singh, the 4th descendant of legendary Maharana Pratap Singh. The 44th descendant of legendary Maharana Pratap Singh. The news spread and soon I was on all the channels, newspapers and magazines. Researchers from all over the world, including Oxford University, came to see me. Even the Dalai Lama visited me. Dr. Ian Stevenson from Virginia University, USA, wrote about me in his book, Children Who Remember Their Past Lives. Meanwhile, I struggled. It took me more than 10 years to adjust to my new life, as it was simply a continued experience of emotions from my previous life in a new body. Eventually, my body, mind, and emotions adjusted to my present life and family. Now, happily married and staying with my family in Mumbai. After that, the body is burned to ashes or buried in the earth. The brain, with all its memories, is also destroyed. One may wonder what is the connection that carries the memories from dead body of the past life to the fresh one in next life. Modern science presently does not have a definitive answer to this question.